Hey guys, we are back. This is HTKTT. I am Lord Thompson. As you already know, this is
Celeb,
Raji,
Jay,
and we have a lovely new member. Introduce yourself to the people.
okay, Emma.
Right. Okay, now Emma Savage, another Emma, not this Emma, the other Emma, can't be here today. So we're sending Emma love. Hey. But busy schedules. But that also brings me on to our first topic, which I'd like to call it the McDonald's drive-thru age that I feel we all live in at the minute. And I'm going to tell the story. Like at the birth of this talk show, I just had the idea of it, and I spoke to someone at work it was a Wednesday. I was like, oh, I've got an idea for a talk show and this and that. I'd gone to sleep, gone back to work on the Thursday. She was in again on the Friday, and she was like, oh, so have you filmed it yet? Is it up? Where can I watch it? And I'm like, it's only been a day. How was that possible? But then I was like, oh my God, should I have filmed it already? Why have I not made time to film it? And I just kind of get the sense that with this Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat and all that, everything happening really quickly, that we're not giving things the time to grow that they need. And then we're chastising ourselves because we're not somewhere that is physically impossible to be. Like a seed takes years to grow into a tree, but it's going to grow into that tree. It just needs that time. But are we not giving ourselves that time in this day and age?
I think it's about manifesting and attracting it to yourself, personally. But please don't kill me.
I really felt like you just threw out a load of buzzwords there, and I need you to actually get to the point of what you meant.
So if you want to do something or achieve something, and I know you do this anyway, but I think that it's putting it into your brain and it's attracting it to yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't have the time to attract it to ourselves because we might get up and go to work and stuff, but I think anyone can attract anything if you've got the mental.
but I feel like what Lawrence is saying is that I have done that and it is coming to me, but it takes more than 2 seconds to do
Yeah,
it.
definitely.
So what he said, I feel like what you're saying is when outside people are like, that's not done yet? Oh. And then you kind of think to yourself, oh my God, why is it not done yet?
Yeah.
But then does that
get done in a day?
Does that lead to us thinking that we need to do things to other people's expectations and time levels? Because it's about your goal and where you're going and your time and your pace.
Of course, and I fully get that. And even when I was rushing myself, there were people who were like, chill out, like you've still got time to do this.
Yeah.
But when that's all the feedback you're getting, and you're also worrying yourself, sometimes that takes over your mind, and then you start thinking, and it takes an incredible amount of strength. And I've only learned this through things I've wanted taking an incredibly long time, to the point where I just had to sit down and say, okay, and then it happened. And that happened with a few things, and they took years, but then that showed me that no, they are going to come, and just be patient. So now when people are like, oh, isn't that done yet? It actually gets to the point where I just don't say anything.
You do not take that on
Yeah,
board, yeah.
I just leave it so I don't get the outside, oh, I know you're going to get that anyway, but you don't need that.
I feel like it gets
already
amplified though when you've given yourself that deadline and you want something that bad, and then someone outside says to you, oh, it's not done, and then you was already feeling bad, and now you feel
It's almost belittling,
you know what I mean?
I think.
Yeah, it is. Oh, it's not done. Oh, okay. And then it's like,
Yeah.
But then it's about what it actually is, because if something would naturally take a long time, we have to understand that that particular thing takes a long time. But then sometimes we are procrastinating, and
That's true.
if we've got the wrong idea about it, then we are just wasting time. But then while you were speaking about it, I was thinking about how sometimes I binge watch television shows, and I'm thinking, oh, is that a bad thing that I need to watch the whole series now? But then I think actually maybe it's a good thing that I've just taken out this afternoon, just doing something that is just completely different from the rest of my life. Maybe that's a positive thing rather than a negative thing.
It's what your brain's wanting to give it.
Alright, I like what you said about binge watching, because I thought that I needed to do lots of things and I needed to do them faster.
Yeah.
I was trying to do them all at once.
Yeah.
As opposed to that
that thing of chunking it down.
Yeah, and when I was trying to do it all at once, like something had fallen, then something else had fallen, then I'd be like, oh, and then I have to pick everything up again. And then what I've started doing is like, right, this, and this needs to be done. That, I've paused. This,
Priority levels. Priorities.
done.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm doing it now. And then this, done.
But
So
then
this
what about when
thing-
someone wanders in and says, oh, what's happening with this one over here? And
Punch
that's on the
someone else.
Now that's why now I've gotten to the place where I'm like, that's coming.
Yeah, someone says, oh, that's not done yet. That's one of the
It's
things
on
you've already
hold.
put on. Yeah.
I'm watching this series. We'll do that series next.
Yes! Netflix your life.
Exactly.
But it's like, yeah,
Don't forget to chill.
I'm gonna watch. So I'm gonna watch this series
yeah.
now,
Yeah.
and like generally, I feel like whatever I'm watching is kind of it's the vibe of what I need to be doing next. So
At
I'm
this
in
moment.
that
Okay, so I have a
mindset
question
to do
for
that.
you.
Go.
So you see how she says she'll binge watch a program and things like that. That's available to us now. So remember when we was young and you used to go to the movies, and a year later it would come out on video. Show my age, right? But now,
What are videos?
oh yeah, video. What is
They
that?
are.
But now it comes out, and before it's even left the cinema, the DVD's out.
Yeah.
So everything's like you're saying, everything's being condensed down into a lot shorter time. So when you're saying you binge watch something, that's something that's now readily available to you, but wouldn't usually be. So
Yeah.
should that have taken that time, or are you already condensing into what society is now allowing you to push into smaller and smaller time gaps? You know what I mean?
I think. Sorry, I'll let you speak in a minute. I think both is happening. We are doing things faster. Things are available to us faster, but. I'm literally running with this thought as I'm going. We still have the same amount of time to live. And there are certain things that naturally were going to happen and just take that time. It takes you 10 years to be 10 years older.
Yeah.
You can't rush that. So I can do lots more things
But
in
then
between that, but I won't be 10 years older until 10 years
But
time.
what I'm saying is, are we rushing the things that should take the 10 years, but we've decided, no, I want to be 10 years older in 5. Do you see what I mean?
But then that's what I'm saying. That's what the battle is. You can't rush it. You're trying to rush it, but you can't.
Maybe that's where the conflict
You
comes from.
can't.
That's what
And
makes us
then
feel bad.
then you're feeling bad because you're trying to do something that's not possible to do. Not possible to do, but not possible to do in that time frame. Like you will get there. And the way I broke it down is like, God willing, probably going to be here for another 30, 40 years. That's quite a significant chunk of time. I've already done quite a lot in the first however many years I've been here. So why can't I then do everything else I want to do in that time? And once I got that clear in my mind, if anyone was rushing me, I'm like, cool, that's good. I know it's going to happen, and I'm going to be patient and let that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, two things come to mind for me. Is I recognise that performance anxiety
Yeah.
about
Oh,
life,
yeah.
like every day monitoring how well I'm doing
Yeah.
today towards my goals. And so if someone says to me, how's that going, like that girl said to you,
Yeah.
it totally depends on how I feel about myself.
Yeah.
You know, they can ask me and I'll feel guilt, or they can ask me and I'll feel at peace with wherever it's at.
Mhm.
You know. And the other thing is the idea that we can have everything but in chapters.
Yeah.
And definitely as a woman, that's how I've come to understand having a family, relationship, you know, career, etc., etc. Understanding, yes, I can have everything, but maybe it will be in chapters as opposed to all, have to force it all.
I like
at
that.
once.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
This,
like that.
this is the part of this is the part of the story that I'm at.
Yeah.
Next
Right
chapter
now.
will come.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like that. I'm gonna start living by that. Thank you, Em. No, I'm really serious. I know that sounded really silly, but
No.
seriously, that really does help.
And I also think it's about understanding that sometimes your story changes. Sometimes what you want changes. And I think because I'm also now, like, I know this about me and certain people know this about me. Like, when I want something, like I'll put it out there and I'll keep talking about it and I'll talk to about this person, that person, with that person, with that person, with that person.
Yeah.
And then I've got everyone talking about it and putting it out there. And then I'll stop talking about it, because then it's done. And then I'll start talking about the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always talking about things well in advance before they happen. So I can understand why people think, well, how's that not like that's not happening, but the thing I was talking about way back then, that's now happening. Like I planned out this entire year in December. So like my new year is like November, December, because I've already planned like what do I want this year, what do I want from that year, what do I want from that year. And sometimes it changes and I understand those changes, but because people heard me saying one thing, they're like, oh, why isn't that the thing? Because that's not the thing anymore. And I'm fine with that, because the thing, like this started, I eventually wanted to end up doing a talk show, and I was going to say, oh yeah, I'll get there eventually, and I was like, well, if you're going to be there, why don't you just practice now so you can learn all this stuff? And we were going to write a TV series, and then we were going to film the TV series, and then from that I was like, oh, let's just film the talk show. But it started as this was going to be a TV series, and through all the whatevers, it's ended up being this. So all those things that weren't quite what I wanted and weren't the plan, kind of worked out.
I'm a bit different. I know what I want to do, and I've got it written down in my brain or in my books or whatever, but with me I kind of just wake up and just go with the flow. I just kind of think if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, and if it's not, it's not. And you just wake up and you just do what you got to do, go to sleep, and then just crack on with it.
Yeah, but it's that do what you got to do. That's the bit like, have you decided?
I know what I've got to do,
But that's
and I put my
pre-planning
priorities.
that Lawrence is talking
Yeah,
about. He just
but
plans
are
my
you-
priorities. Go on. Sorry.
But you see what I mean? That do what you got to do is your pre-planning.
Yeah.
So Lawrence, and I've known him for a long time, he is a good pre-planner, you know.
Ridiculous.
Really good pre-planner. And so when he tells you something, he's right, things change.
Yeah, they do.
And you don't necessarily see those changes.
Yeah.
So suddenly what he was doing when he told you to begin with isn't what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that fell apart, it means
Yeah, it's
he's adapted
happening.
that.
I don't think it's anyone's
But
business.
you're doing what
you're
you've got
trying
to do is your pre-planning.
Yeah.
Because otherwise how would you know what that is? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't pre-plan, like when it comes to my work life, I pre-plan everything. I know what's happening in 3 weeks' time. I have to. It's what I do. But with my life, I just think, because I've been through so much, I'm so fed up of like walking down a straight line. I like waking up and being a bit of a nutcase and a bit of a scat, but I know in the back of my head what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it. But I don't put too much focus. I put the good energy into it, and I know it's going to happen, but I don't put too much focus into it. And with me, if I talk to people and say, oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing this, and if they say, oh, you know, how's that going? In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, it's going great, but at the same time, is it anything to do with you?
All right, I get that. I just want to ask you a question.
You know
That you
what
said,
Yeah.
you know what you're doing and you're doing it, but then you get up every day and just let things happen. Are you doing it?
Yeah.
If you just let things
Yeah,
If
happen.
you're just letting,
I'm just going with the flow with it.
but
But then are you
That's
doing what you need to?
you're saying, I feel
Yeah.
like you're saying two different things.
No, but
Okay, so maybe
so
so let's just use what we're doing today for an example.
Okay.
Yeah. So I know that I'm doing it, and I know that it's going to happen, and I'm like, great, it's going to happen. We're going to meet up on the 18th, and we're going to film, and we're going to have a good day.
but that's pre-planning.
Yeah, I know. But
So
I
when
don't
you
put
woke
too
up this
much-
morning, did you know what you was going to wear today? Did you know how you was getting here? Did you know things like that?
You have no idea what I
Right.
went through this morning. That's in Camden
But
last
you
night.
knew you was getting up to get dressed to come here, so you knew what you were doing. Even if you didn't know exactly what you was going to wear, you knew that's what you had to do.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
But I don't put too much.
Maybe you
thought
didn't think,
into
I'm going to
it.
wear that necklace with that earrings.
I just think it
But you
stresses
knew
me
you
out.
was
I
gonna
get more
have to go
stressed
into
out when I
this.
think about it too much.
Yeah.
I see, we were talking about this before. Like, I feel like this board is dominating. I planned the menu last week. I bought the food for today on
I
Friday.
wish you could smell
I
what's
picked my
cooking.
outfits out last week. I ironed them last night.
Yeah.
And I set my alarm this morning and I did because otherwise...
Yeah, but as we
I'm
said, you
an
are
organised person.
meticulous.
I'm not an organised person
You
at all.
are. Every
'Cause
little
that would
detail is
freak
you.
me out.
Oh, yeah, it would.
But let's just see what happens.
When it comes to like going away and doing
No
things,
offence.
like
Laugh.
when it comes to going away and organising things, I know that again, I know it's going to happen, but then my friend Sarah, she's so organised. Like when she's woken up in the 10 minutes, right, we're doing this, and we're staying here, we're doing this, and back by this time, but I'm like, great, thank you.
How do you guys ever do anything together?
Do you know what? We've touched on this before. I think one of you always has one of me around.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they need that in their life.
Yeah. So while you're going crazy,
enough, baby.
You're the same.
I'm there troubleshooting.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
right, doing this now. No, okay, we're gonna get here later.
kinda
Okay,
like
cool.
being
No, that's
told what to
alright.
do,
That's
do you?
alright. That's alright.
Not enough, baby. What?
Anyway, sorry.
Nice.
Switch corners. Leave that.
I'm not in shock.
But then that just makes me think of, as you touched upon, how much control do we have in our planning? Because like even reminds me of this morning when I just turned up when you were supposed to be.
Yeah.
When you were supposed to be
Do
like
not
spending
let-
time
just let me
prepping.
Actually, interrupt your piece.
Like at the end of the day, we're not the author of our own lives. So you're planning like 3 years in advance. I'd say, well, how would you know? Well, you don't know.
I'm not, and
Die tomorrow.
do you know what? I think it was, but it was there was a teacher we had at drama school, Brian Parsons. He said, plan, but plan loosely.
But
Like,
do plan.
but do plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's me.
Like
Hey, Brian.
Shoot.
I will more like, and I do this at work. There are certain things that you know could possibly go wrong. So I'm going to prep for those things to go wrong. Because if you come in, things are naturally going to change, shift, as is. But if those things are changing and shifting, and the things that you knew could have gone wrong as well go wrong, and you didn't plan for that, then you're dealing with that, plus another, plus another.
Yeah.
And to me, that's it's wasted time. Like big things, I don't worry about in the slightest. Like in a what's a situation? Like in a crisis. That's the word.
We got there.
Like
Your words.
I'm awesome in a crisis. Like I will just shift into focus, and if I'm under pressure, I'm just very legit. But it's when loads of little things go wrong. That's where I go because I'm holding up the big things. So then I'll allow the little things to drop, and then I'll freak out about those because I know the big things are sound.
Sounds like you prepare. You really
I do.
prepare.
Yeah, because I feel that I need to.
Yeah.
But I'm all right with that changing, and now I'm all right with other people not knowing because it's all right that they don't know because it's my stuff.
They don't need to.
So no one needs to know. As long as you know what you're doing and where you're going, and that's going to change, and it's all right because if it changes, it's meant to change.
Yeah.
And then whatever info you have coming in and out, I really feel like that's testing you and reminding you of where you want to go.
And there's no shame in changing.
And there's absolutely no shame in that whatsoever.
I'm quite surprised that I think I identify mostly with what Raji's saying actually. Yeah, and
This
I'm
is
quite
a miracle.
surprised because I didn't.
I would just like to say this.
Because
This is a miracle.
no, because like I don't know. I think I do wake up in the morning and think, oh, let's see what's going to happen, Lord, because you know I ask God what's going to happen, and I just go along with. I didn't really. Yeah, I'm really surprised that. No offense, but I know it sounds awful, but yeah. That's it. That's what I'm saying.
Choice believes in me.